Sunday Night Football on Westwood One. Mike Golick and I have the call as Jordan Love and the Packers head south for a matchup with the Cowboys. Of course, it also marks the return of Micah Parsons to Dallas, where he became a pass-rushing star. Can Parsons make Dak Prescott and the Cowboys regret his trade to Green Bay? Join us to find out. Packers and the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football.
The NFL plays here tonight on 107.7 The Franchise.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
No, warm-up's not really, but when I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
There's a flag. Back to the one-handed catch. How in the world?
Oh, my goodness.
Insane. How do you make that catch?
That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen.
Oh, look at this run. What a run. Marshawn Lynch. Still on his feet. Has blockers now. He's dancing his way for the touchdown.
So if you got the crosshairs, you got the laser, you put it right on my chest, I'll take full responsibility. I'm raising the stake right now. This is a poker game. I'm shoving my chips to the middle of the table. I'm raising the ante. Anybody wants in, get in. Anybody wants out, get out. Okay? This team is going to the playoffs.
Don't you ever talk about me.
Who was talking about you?
Crabtree, don't you open your mouth about the best.
You're listening to the Hangover Fantasy Show with Mike Cornett and Rives Mitchell on 107.7 The Franchise.
Welcome in to the Franchise Studios here on a fine Sunday afternoon. If you're a little confused at who you're hearing, I'm the co-host, Rives Mitchell, but I am hosting this week. Mike Cornett has made the long and grueling trip down to Dallas.
Grueling?
Grueling trip down to Dallas, down I-35 to see his Green Bay Packers on Sunday Night Football tonight. Take on, of course, Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. The return of Micah Parsons. But filling in this week for Mike Cornett, we've got my best friend, my confidant, one of the best employees we have up here at 107.7 The Franchise. It's the one and only. It's Dave Myrick, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, good morning, everybody. Not sure how to follow up that intro. Much appreciated, Rives. I feel for Mike Cornett tonight. He's not going to go to a good game. And, I guess it's good in the sense that the Packers are absolutely going to stomp the Cowboys.
Yeah.
That's the worst defense in the NFL. So, yeah, he's going to witness a good one, but not good for the rest of us.
I think we're on the same page there, definitely. Probably going to be not the best game there in Dallas tonight, but at the same time, Mike being a Packers fan, he's probably going to get to see Micah Parsons have a couple sacks. He's going to get to see Jordan Love throw a couple touchdowns. So I don't think he's going to be all that upset. Dave, before we fly into the NFL slate, I mean, there was some crazy college last night, and Mike usually does not allow me to talk college on the show, but
I'm going to allow it.
We're both college guys, so, I mean, I got to, hit a few of these games. Bama goes into Georgia, gets the 24-21 win. Kalen DeBoer 2-0 against Kirby Smart. I did not, I said I saw it coming. I told you before the game I liked Bama on the spread, but let's be honest, I had to see that to actually believe it, because winning between the hedges is one of the hardest things to do in college football, and Kalen DeBoer just did it.
Yeah, man, no doubt. I was in the same boat. I mean, I think we all took too much stock in Florida State thumping Bama the first game of the season. Ty Simpson still looked really good in that game, but Alabama Rives, as we talked about with Matt last week, still has a ton of athletes, and the Nick Saban factor for Kirby Smart is gone, so I was kind of thinking, yeah, he's not going to be intimidated playing at home, and they'll run over Alabama. Georgia's already got an impressive road win at Tennessee, and that did not happen. So, I mean, credit to Kalen DeBoer. Look, after that first game, they could have gone off the rails pretty fast down in Alabama. Has not. He's gotten that team back to playing elite football.
Totally agree. One of the best wins of the early college football season so far, and one of the things I'm impressed with, Dave, is, kind of this narrative. Mike and I talked about it a couple weeks ago, but the narrative of the college QBs coming into the season. We had Klubnik, we had Sellers, we had Arch Manning, we had, all of these guys that you thought were going to be first rounders. Dave, let's be honest, the majority of them have not played very well or gotten hurt in the early portion of this season. A guy I'm looking at to maybe be a first-round quarterback at this point, he's looking like the hottest quarterback in the country, in my opinion. Now, John Mateer got hurt, which sucks, and he was probably the hottest QB in the nation. But, Dave, Ty Simpson down in Tuscaloosa, he looks like an NFL guy to me, does he not?
No, he totally does. And look, even in that loss to Florida State, he looks good still. There was nothing you could look at from that game and say the guy's not the right trigger guy for Alabama. But, yeah, he looks like he's in full command, arm strength's there. And, yeah, Nussmeier for LSU is another one you throw up there. People were complaining about Mateer being at the top of the Heisman list, but it's because what you just said. Nobody really nationwide has stepped up at quarterback. All the guys that we thought were going to be there haven't been. So, yeah, besides Mateer, I love Ty Simpson down at Bama, and that to me is the 1-2 punch for the best quarterbacks in the SEC right now, at least this week.
No doubt about it. Just the other, there was a lot of good games yesterday, no doubt about it, but we got to get in the NFL here quickly. But I want to hit on the Oregon-Penn State game really quick because, man, oh man, did I go into the game trusting James Franklin. Did I think, maybe, Dave, this is the time. I know he's 0-15, 0-16 against top-ranked teams. I know that, Dan Lanning is the superior coach. But, hey, I'm going to put that all aside, and I'm going to take Penn State tomorrow night because – you know what? That whiteout is intimidating. Drew Aller's a senior. He's coming back. He should be able to lead the troops. That defense is really good. Penn State should be able to win at home until they didn't, and they lose in overtime to Oregon 30-24, double overtime at that. Credit to Penn State for getting the game tied and into overtime because I thought it was going to be a blowout there for a while. But, Dave, at this point, is Franklin ever going to get over the hump? Because 0-16 is just a really crazy stat to me.
I don't know, man. To me, at this point, there's some kind of a mental hurdle. He can't make the right call at the right time to get these games won for Penn State. And the tough thing, if you're a Nittany Lion fan, do you put up with having a consistently good top 10 team that's always in contention for the Big Ten and sneaking around the playoffs, but you can't quite get over the hump? Or do you finally make the move and risk, really tanking and not being what you are right now to have? That's a tough spot to be in, man. I feel for their fans. But to answer your question, I'm going to have to see Franklin win one of those games before I believe it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's pretty wild stuff down there in State College. All right, let's jump into the NFL with Vikings and Steelers going on right now.
Oof.
Looks like the Vikings are in the red zone. Dave, this is the early morning Dublin game. That's why it's already on. And what's your take on these very early morning cross country games? You think they should keep the games in America, or do you mind the across the pond matchups?
USA, baby, these colors don't run. Keep it stateside. Stop selling out and selling out your fan bases. They only get like 3 or 4, maybe 5 of these a year, Reeves. And these fan bases are tenacious. They love their home games. Stop ripping it away from them. At least one of them a year and selling out to go overseas. No, I don't like it. I don't like waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning and NFL game's already in the second quarter. I don't think the Vikings liked it either because they're getting thumped today, which I didn't see coming.
No, I don't think they liked it either. Though Vikings have just scored a touchdown courtesy of Carson Wentz rolling out in the pocket, finding the backup running back Xavier Scott from Maine, Dave. He probably played against Oklahoma in that OU Maine game last year.
I think he ripped off a long run.
I think he did too.
First drive of the game.
He just caught a touchdown in Dublin, and this cuts the lead down to 10 points as they do convert the 2-point conversion as well. So,
Tyler Neal out there begging for a comeback.
Yeah, this game is not over yet, but looks like the Steelers have been the better team today. Aaron Rodgers finding DK Metcalf earlier for an 80-yard score. That's been a nice connection this year. Dave, kind of what was your take on the Steelers going into the season? Obviously, Rodgers' Jets tenure did not go well at all. He got hurt like the first play of his tenure, and then when he came back, it was just classic Jets where they can't really do anything right. Steelers take a chance on him this year, a team that seems to always make the playoffs with Tomlin, but they can never get over the hump either. Did you like that marriage going into the offseason, or did you? What was kind of your take on that?
To be honest, I didn't like it. I didn't see it would be a good fit, but I've been wrong. I think he has fit in fairly well. You got to get a playmaker like DK Metcalf on the outside. That's going to make any quarterback, look and feel better. And Rodgers still has it. I mean, the guy's 43 years old. I think he's a good fill-in rental quarterback for this year, and they got a good defense to go along with it. So, yeah, I think it can work, but to answer your question, I didn't like it off the jump. I just thought, look, Rodgers is old, man. He's older than I am. I got trouble getting out of bed on Sundays. So, I mean, I didn't see that coming.
Hey, you beat me to the studio here this morning, so there you go. I know Mike's listening out there saying that's not surprising at all. Rives is always 3 minutes behind, but yeah, that's me. Let's go ahead and get into our Bricksville breakdown, where we go through the entire NFL slate and kind of give you our thoughts and opinions on what's going to happen. Bricksville Breakdown is brought to you, as always, by Bricksville, Oklahoma's first independent Lego resale store, now with 2 locations. Oklahoma City store located off 24th and Penn, and now a brand new store located in Edmond on the corner of Kelly and the Edmond Road. New sets, used sets, adult sets, kids sets. They buy, they sell, they trade. They have thousands of minifigs and over a half of bricks. Birthday parties, they have that also. If anything to do with Lego, they have it. Go check them out. Bricksville and OKC or Edmond. You can tell Mike is usually the one reading that promo. So.
I want to go check it out, man.
Yeah, I know. We may have to go take a trip right after this. But yeah, let's get into this slate, Dave, because there's some interesting games today. I wouldn't say the best slate ever, but at the end of the day, it's always good when you got fantasy guys rolling, when you got good matchups going. The first one I want to get into, one that will probably be on TV in Oklahoma, considering they love to show Baker Mayfield. It's the 3-0 Eagles at the 3-0 Bucks. This should be an entertaining game of undefeated teams. Jalen Hurts and the Eagles have looked, pretty darn good so far, though last week against the Rams, I thought that was a pretty lucky win as they blocked the field goal, take it back to the house, and win in heroic fashion. But, Dave, crazy stat about the Bucks. They're the first team in NFL history to start 3-0 on 3 game-winning field goals. So they're trying to keep that up this week. Philadelphia comes in a 3.5-point favorite, over under 43.5. Kind of the big news and notes going into this one. There's a lot of injuries on that Buccaneers offensive line. They get all pro. I'm not sure if he's a guard or tackle, but Tristan Wirfs, he's coming back today. But they have about 3 other injuries as well. So it's kind of addition by subtraction. And they're going to try to block for Baker Mayfield today, who was questionable going into this game, but I think he's going to play.
What about Mike Evans? He going to play?
Mike Evans is out with a hamstring injury. So that upgrades Emeka Ibuka from Ohio State, who's had a pretty good start to the season, to wide receiver number 1.
That guy's a stud.
So, yeah, we'll see if he can do wide receiver number 1 type deals. What's kind of your feel going into this Eagles and Bucks matchup?
Oh, that's a lot of injuries, man. I don't like the fact Mike Evans is out. That's one of Baker's kind of security blankets. So, yeah, Ibuka has to step up big time. It looks like the Bucks, to me, have been the complete better team so far this year. I mean, you go back to game 1 against the Cowboys for the Eagles. As you referenced last week against the Rams, had to get a little bit lucky at the end to win that. But that being said, they got championship pedigree, Reeves. They know how to win games in the NFL. When it comes down to it in the fourth, they don't panic. And so I've got the Eagles winning today.
Yeah, I would probably agree. I think the Eagles, with all of those injuries considered, should win this game. Now, man, Baker loves to pull upsets when we least expect it, so I would never count him out in a game like this. But on the same note, that Saquon, A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts tandem is just something to behold. So,
and it's like last week he finally realized you've got A.J. Brown on the outside. Get the guy the football, man.
Exactly. I mean, they were barely throwing the ball to him early on in the season, it felt like. And finally, Jalen Hurts, hits him up, and he had a big day. The one thing I forgot to do is to break down our Thursday night game we had, which we can touch on very, very quickly. Seahawks-Cardinals. Seahawks win it at the buzzer on a field goal. Dave, the question I want out of you for this game is Kyler Murray's time in Arizona wrapping up? Because at the end of the day, I mean, he is a great player. We both watched him at OU. We watched every snap he played at Oklahoma, and he's one of the best quarterbacks in Oklahoma history. He's had some good moments in the NFL as well, but Dave, I mean, his record against his own division is really, really bad at this point. I think it's like 8-22, something along those lines. The Cardinals' defense looked all right. I mean, they kept him in this game, I thought, but him and Marvin Harrison just don't seem to have it. They kind of picked it up in the second half, but it just seems discombobulated. And do you think Kyler needs a change of scenery at this point?
That's tough, man. I mean, because you said he's had good moments with the Cardinals, and I think it comes down to this: the Cardinals just overall, they're not a really good organization in the NFL. So yeah. I don't think it hasn't been the best fit for Kyler. So yeah, I think a change of scenery might do him well, kind of the same way we saw with Baker Mayfield once he got away from Cleveland, and eventually the Panthers ended up in a good spot. But I don't know who goes first, from the Cardinals, if it's Coach Gannon or Kyler Murray. I think they want the coach gone, and for Kyler's sake, I hope it's his last go-around in Arizona, because I don't see it fitting. The James Conner injury did not help their cause at all, and Marvin Harrison just has not been what we thought.
No, he hasn't, and I mean, I had high expectations for Marvin coming out of the Ohio State University. Obviously, his dad was a great player with Peyton Manning and the Colts. I thought Junior would be just about, maybe not as good as his dad, because his dad's one of the best of all time, but
close.
Yeah. That Rose Bowl he had against Utah, yes, where he had almost 300 yards. Yeah. Like, this kid was doing unreal things in college, and it has just not really been put together in the NFL thus far. But I'm not giving up on him yet, but I may be giving up on Kyler in Arizona as well. I think a change of scenery could really benefit him to go to more of a competent organization. I don't really know which organization that is, because it seems like everybody has a quarterback nowadays. Yeah, everybody could use a quarterback, so I don't know. Maybe
somewhere like the Saints. I hate to dethrone Spencer Rattler. But
yeah, but they look awful this year, so it's like, would that even be a better situation?
If he can take Harrison with him. And it might be the same deal for Marvin Harrison. He's got to get out of a bad situation.
Mm-hmm, yeah, and again, that Cardinals defense looked all right. Yeah. Like, they did some things in that game to keep him in the game. That could have been a blowout, but at the end of the day, it has just not clicked so far in Arizona for those two. Back to the Eagles and Bucks real quick. Last note on that. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts is 1-4 in his career against Tampa Bay, including the playoffs. His most losses against any team.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did not either. So maybe a little bit of extra motivation for Jalen today, as he has not lost to one team any more than the Buccaneers.
Is that in Tampa today?
It is in Tampa, and Buccaneers are 15-6 as underdogs, 10-11 outright since acquiring Baker Mayfield. So that's not very shocking to me at all.
No, me neither. I still like there's something about the Eagles, man. You just make winning plays at the right time, and they do it.
Yes, they do. That's why they are the defending Super Bowl champions. All right, let's move on. Maybe a game we wouldn't often talk about, but there's an interesting note in this one. Chargers 3-0 at Giants 0-3. Dave, it's the debut for Lane Kiffin's prodigy, the Jackson Dart, who, speaking of Lane Kiffin, big win against Brian Kelly yesterday down there in Oxford.
He had something to say about it this morning, too.
Oh, yeah, he did. And he was tweeting his daughter. Pictures of his daughter about 30 minutes till kick. I'm like, Lane, we all know you have good genes.
Lock in, buddy. Lock in.
This is getting a little weird.
A little cringe.
But, yeah, that's just Lane, and love it or hate it. And he gets the big win yesterday in Oxford, but Jackson Dart, the former Ole Miss Rebel, he's on the New York Giants now, and they've stuck with Russell Wilson like 3 weeks in a row, and it has not been working. And Dave, I know you played Russell Wilson against me in fantasy. And that did not go very well against Kansas City.
I took too much stock in his game against Dallas, right?
Where he had a big-time game then.
Back to throwing moon balls. I'm like, it's old Russ. And last week, I'm like, it's new Russ.
Yeah.
Bad deal.
Yeah, so they finally pull the plug on old man Russell Wilson, and they're going to go ahead and put the fresh blood in. With,
I like the decision.
Jackson Dart, I do too. And for Brian Dable, Dave, let's be honest.
Yikes.
If he's going to save his job at this point, he's got to play Jackson Dart. Like, he doesn't really have a choice at this point. He's got to show, the ownership of the Giants that, hey, I'm willing to play the young guy, and hey, maybe I can develop the young guy, and maybe we go on a little win streak here. But this is going to be a really tough one, in my opinion, today to pick up the win against L.A. Chargers, who, man, they've been kind of the class of the NFL so far, in my opinion. 3 divisional wins. to lead to a 3-0 record. Justin Herbert has been playing out of his mind. You may not even know who Madison Beer is, but he started dating her, and instantly he goes 3-0, and I don't think that's too big of a coincidence there. But anyways, yeah, Chargers 3-0 in this young season. They're out to They're out to a nice lead in the AFC West, and a division that we're so used to the Chiefs winning that division.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to see the Chargers take a 3-0 lead and 3 division wins. So, what are you expecting from this one? You think Jackson Dart can get anything done in this one, or you think it's all Chargers?
I like the move. You got to go with Jackson at this point. Your fan base, you're starting to lose them right now. And I'll tell you what the bad look is. Danny Dimes goes to Indy, and he's shining right now. So that doesn't look good on the Giants either. But I like them going with the young guys, Cam Scattaboo at starting running back. And then, you've got Jackson Dart at quarterback. At least if they lose, maybe your fan base can see some flashes, right? That the young guys, there's some future and promise there. I don't like it today against that L.A. Charger team. They're, like you said, the class of the NFL right now, Justin Herbert, this is what the guy looks like when he's fully healthy. We didn't see it last year. We're seeing it this year, plus him dating Madison Beers. doesn't hurt the cause. But, he's got playmakers. Lad McConkey, Keenan Allen, those guys are steady Eddie. They've got enough of a running back game behind him, and their defense has been really solid. So I like the Chargers to win big.
Yeah, a quote from Jackson Dart going into this game. I think the biggest thing for me is just I want to be the spark on the field. I want to create excitement on the field. I want to be explosive when the opportunities are there. Try to just bring a little bit of swagger, which, man, I can't deny Jackson Dart does have some swagger. So I think he'll be able to bring that, but again, you got to be really tough against this Chargers defense that has looked very good early on. Stat to know in this one, quarterbacks making their first career start against the Chargers are 3-17 in the Super Bowl era, but 2-2 since 2019. So there you go,
Jackson.
There you go, Jackson Dart. Yeah. So that should be a fun one there in New York with the new quarterback. And obviously Justin Herbert, to me, Dave, is must-see TV just about any game he plays in at this point. That kid can sling the football.
That throw last week, off-platform, I mean,
my gosh.
That's one of the best throws I've ever seen in my life. And what's funny, we got to a point last year watching the guy saying, you know what, he's probably a bust at this point. There's no other way to call it. Comes back this year and looks like an all-pro quarterback. I mean, they've got their franchise guy. They've got players around him. I love the way the Chargers set up right now. And again, you go back to Giants, you talk about, watching Danny Dimes flourish on a different team. They've also got to do that with Saquon Barkley every week. So
very true.
They need some good things to happen.
Very true. I mean, they have lost so much talent over the last few years, and it's quite frankly got to be really hard to watch as a Giants fan. But hey, you've got your new guy coming up today. Maybe he's the future of the franchise, and maybe he can get off on the right foot against the Chargers this afternoon. Let's go on down to the ATL, where the Dirty Birds, the Falcons, are taking on the Commanders. And this is kind of an interesting game considering Jaden Daniels and Terry McLaurin ruled out for this one. I was about to say my Commanders. They are not my Commanders. My Raiders really struggled with the Commanders last week, who didn't have Jaden Daniels either. That didn't matter for them, though, as Marcus Mariota threw all over them. The Raiders threw up all over themselves, and that led to a blowout game in D.C. last week. Jaden Daniels still going to be out this one with, I believe it's a hamstring injury, and Terry McLaurin out as well. And then, Dave, like we got to talk about last week, what the Falcons did against the Panthers.
Yeah.
Getting blanked.
Didn't see that one coming.
30-0 to your division rival. I know the Panthers have had some success against them, weirdly enough, in the last 3 years, but 30-0 is something crazy, especially coming off that game in Sunday Night Football where you beat the Vikings on Sunday Night Football, and you're thinking, maybe the Falcons finally are coming along. Maybe Kyle Pitts is finally coming along.
Nope.
And nope, they get blanked 30-0. This is a weird game for me. I don't really know which way this is going to go because the Falcons, to me, are so hard to handicap. Zach Robinson at OC, they've sent him down to the field for this game. Michael Penix Jr. looked terrible last week.
Got benched.
Yeah, he got benched. I think they're going to go back with him today. But, Kirk Cousins came in that game, as Dave said. So this is a weird look for Atlanta. And, Dave, they've always been a team to me that should be so much better than they are.
Agreed. And when you got Michael Penix, when you got Bijan Robinson, when you got Kyle Pitts, To me, that's too much talent to look the way they did last week. That's kind of why I like them in a bounce-back spot today. I think Marcus Mariota caught, some people off guard last week. He played really well, stepping in for my starting quarterback in 2 fantasy leagues, Jaden Daniels, which it's awesome he's out again today.
Yeah, that's tough.
But, I still like the Falcons to bounce back. They were embarrassed a week ago. I don't like the Commanders without Scary Terry or Jaden Daniels today. So, I've got the Falcons winning that one.
Yeah, I could see this being a very low-scoring game as the Falcons love to run the ball, obviously, to Bijan Robinson. He's one of the best running backs in the NFL. And then the Commanders, I just don't expect them to be able to move the ball crazy well, considering their best 2 weapons are out as Carson Wentz goes deep for Jordan Addison, who I have on my fantasy team. Can he take it to the end zone? And he stopped at the 1. What do you know? What do you know? That's going to be about 8 points right there. It could have been 15 or 16.
You'll take the 8.
Yeah, you'll take it. But my goodness. My goodness. That's almost like James Franklin last night. Just teasing you.
Maybe he'll get a jet sweep and then finish it off.
Yeah, maybe so. But big coverage bust right there by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jordan Addison takes it down the sideline. Let's see if they can punch it in right here. No, they can't. Classic NFL. They're going to have to go second and goal. But 10-point game.
They tried to run to the running back, didn't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
First
they
goal.
Did. Yep. They did.
Chalk that one up.
Yep. So let's see. 2:38 left in Dublin. 24-14. So still a 10-point lead for the Steelers. They'll still have a lead even if the Vikings score here. But Vikings have at least made it interesting. This was a 24-6 game. Crazy Jordan. Yeah, I just got a text from someone. How does Jordan Addison get caught there? I don't know. Probably because he's on my team. That's probably why. But yeah, anyways, Commanders and Falcons. It should be probably pretty close considering the spread is only 1, which kind of surprises me, Dave. I thought this would have been more of a Atlanta towards 5-6 number. I guess it's because of how bad they looked last week against Carolina. So we'll see which Atlanta we get this week. You never really know which team you're going to get down there. So let's move on to the 3 p.m. slate, which has some pretty darn good games. The surprise and darlings of the NFL thus far, the Indianapolis Colts with Danny Dimes, who Dave alluded to earlier. They've looked really, really good in their first 3 weeks. Jonathan Taylor's running it well. Danny Dimes, of course, is playing well. And that defense is, playing their heads off right now. So Colts at 3-0. They travel to L.A. to take on the Rams with Matthew Stafford, who, man, they just had it. Big-time heartbreak last week against the Eagles. You thought they were going to win that game the whole way, even at the end.
They outplayed Philadelphia.
They did, for sure. No doubt about it. Eagles take the lead at the end, but still Matthew Stafford, of course, as he always does, leads a drive down the field and gets a game-winning field goal attempt by Joshua Cardi. Blocked, of course, by that big Eagles front. And just for betting purposes, the Eagles defensive lineman runs it all the way back for a touchdown, and the Rams don't cover. I mean, one of the craziest betting swings I've ever seen, considering the spread was 3.5. Make or miss, Dave, the Rams would have covered that spread, but the Eagles decide to run the field goal all the way back. Just crazy stuff down there in Philadelphia. But Colts at Rams this afternoon. You got any kind of feel on this one?
I still think the Rams are really, really good. They had that game won. Matt Stafford keeps doing what he does, and that's putting the team in position to win. But I like the Colts, man. I think they've got it going. I think they've got enough positive momentum. They showed me last week. This isn't a fluke. I mean, Danny Dimes is playing good football. They've got a tremendous offensive line. Jonathan Taylor is one of the best backs in the league. If you can run it, you can play defense. That travels, and I've got them winning today.
I like it. I mean, man, this feels like a spot where the whole world kind of expects LA to bounce back.
Yes.
But on the same note, the Colts have been playing such good football. They feel hard to fade right now. They feel really difficult to fade, so I don't mind that pick at all, Dave.
Touchdown Justin Jefferson, by the way. Of course, because I'm playing him in my fantasy league.
Did he scored a touchdown?
Yeah. All the guys
okay.
You're not going to cover.
I thought that was a field goal. I was kind of multitasking here, reading these stats and looking up. I thought they kicked a field goal, but no, I think you're right.
Let's not cover Justin Jefferson, of all guys on the Vikings.
And let's go ahead and catch Jordan Addison and not let him score, who, by the way, has been suspended the first 3 weeks for performance-enhancing drugs. I went ahead and threw him back in the lineup today because the suspension's over, and I said, hey, he's going to come out strong after the suspension. And, I mean, Again, Dave's right. You can't complain about a 90-yard catch.
But that's why he got caught. He's off the performance-enhancing
True.
drugs.
He can't finish a run.
Yeah, if he was still on it, he scores.
Very good point there. Stat to know in Rams-Colts. Rams QB Matthew Stafford co-leads the NFL in completions at 29, passing touchdowns, 4 with 0 interceptions, and first downs, 17 on play action this season. Meanwhile, Indianapolis defense has 10 interceptions on play action throws under coach Shane Steichen. Since 2023, tied for the most overall in that span. So that's a stat indicating the Colts today. Yeah, I like that stat a lot. And, with the Rams, Dave, they're just one of the best play action teams because, first of all, they can run it with Kyron Williams effectively. And second of all, the play calls, man, by McVay are so good. I mean, he just always has his team in the right spot.
You know what that stat from the Colts tells me, though? They do a great job stopping the runs. Those guys don't have to get their eyes in the backfield and bite on play action. That front four does a great job keeping it contained. They can drop back in pass coverage. That's going to be something to watch today. Play action passes.
Agreed. I'll be tuned into this game for sure. It'll be really, really fun down there in L.A. And, this is a Colts team, Dave, that even last year, I think we saw the potential considering how bad their quarterback play was with Anthony Richardson. And you're almost like, man, if Anthony Richardson can just become half of what we thought he could be.
Just be a decent quarterback.
Be a decent quarterback. Just do the right things. Don't turn it over in horrible spots like you tend to do. Or if they could get another guy that can just manage the clock. And, Dave, it feels like they found the perfect guy in Daniel Jones that can just manage a football game.
Yeah, Danny Dimes, he's just got this innate ability to move the chains, understand the offense. He's not flashy, but he does enough, man, especially on the ground. When you've got everything covered and you think you're in the best defense possible, he's out the gate for 9, 10,
It always surprises me how well he can run.
He can run it.
He really can run it.
And that breaks your back as a DC. I mean, enough to move the chains, and you can, lean on Jonathan Taylor as it looks like the Steelers recover the onside kick, so they're going to go on to win. But, yeah, I love Indianapolis, man. I like the style of football they're playing, and I've got them winning today because of Danny Dimes.
Well, you could... that'd be a big underdog bet right there. They're 3.5-point underdogs, but I kind of agree with you. I think they at least cover the spread, and I think this is a down-to-the-wire football game because they are playing the best football in the NFL, arguably. And, the Rams, they're playing well too, I think, but coming off the emotion of that last week, I want to see how they come out here tonight, so it's going to be interesting to see. Let's see what other games we can get to. Yeah, we can just about get to the game of the day. Well, the game of the day in our hearts, Dave, I'll jump to that one real quick.
Yes.
1-2 Bears at 1-2 Raiders. Dave, a resident Chicago Bears fan. I am a Las Vegas Raiders fan. We are going head-to-head today.
We need some kind of a bet.
Yeah, we do.
Something on air, staked.
I mean, lunch on the winner, something easy like that.
Well, yeah, or you got to wear a Bears hat up here for the entire week.
Yeah, for my for the afternoon show, maybe wear a Bears hat.
Hours, yeah,
that would.
Your 3 hours.
That'd be a little obvious. I think Matt Burton and Tyler Neal would sniff that one out pretty quick.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's okay. But yeah, both our teams are meh.
Yeah.
I actually do think I'm going to admit this on air, which pains me to do. I do think Chicago's a little bit better than Las Vegas. My problem with my Raiders is, Dave, they can't really run the football with Ashton Genty due to that poor offensive line, which just on the opposite side, what we were talking about with the Indianapolis Colts, they can run the ball, so they can do the play action with Danny Dimes. The Raiders can't really do the play action with Geno Smith because they can't run the ball, Dave. So it's really hurt the passing game this year. And Geno's a guy I like, but when it's obvious passing situations and you're not like Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or one of these guys that can just create plays out of nothing, it becomes very hard for you as a quarterback. And he struggled as a result of that. The big story in this game, though, that I've been hearing is the top defensive player at every level for Chicago today is out.
That's correct.
Which it's Grady Jarrett on the defensive line, and then it's somebody in the secondary and somebody at linebacker. I cannot remember at this point. But
McCaskill, I think.
Yeah. But they have 3 big names out today on the defense. This is resulting in the Raiders getting a 1.5-point spread. to being favored in this game, which is kind of mind-boggling to me, especially after what the Bears were able to do to the Cowboys last week.
But it's the Cowboys.
Yeah, very true. That was my next point. Dallas this year, man, I mean,
yikes.
Respect to them for having one win, and they should not have beat the Giants when they did. I mean, they got very lucky to come back in that game. Credit to them for coming back. And Dallas defense, maybe the worst in the NFL in my opinion, especially their secondary. It's so bad. Dave, as a Bears fan, though, you have to like what you saw from new head coach Ben Johnson last week, pulling out the flea flicker deep throw to Luther Burden. That was something to see. And then just overall, Caleb feeling so comfortable in the pocket. That looks like one of his best NFL starts, in my opinion.
Yeah, Grady Jarrett, Darnell Wright, TJ Edwards all out today. Wright and Jarrett on the offensive line. The tight end, Colston Loveland, is questionable with a hip. DeAndre Swift, questionable. So, you know why Caleb looked good last week? Because they finally got the run game with Swift going.
No doubt.
And we talked about the play action. I mean, look, in the NFL, you know this. You have to have a play action game. You feed everything off that because the windows, if you're just strictly trying to drop back and pass, they're non-existent. And Caleb Williams is not there yet as a quarterback to read, react, and fit those balls in without having a threat of a run game. So if they can get that going against the Raiders today, I like the Bears. If not, I like the Raiders. I don't see Chicago lining up and stopping Ashton Genty with all the guys they've got out. Even if they were playing, I still wouldn't like their chances because the defense is not that great. But this is going to be one of the more intriguing games today, I think. It's going to be one of the more entertaining games.
I mean, we'll both be locked in.
I mean, for 1 and 2 teams, I think it's going to be must-see TV. But in the end, of course, got to go with my Bears.
That's fair. So you think Genty, Big Dave, and Bears still overcome it?
Correct.
Okay, there you go.
I can see Genty like 85 and a tug, and the Bears win by 3 or 4 points.
Okay, yeah. I don't hate that prediction. And honestly, with you, like, Genty's breaking has to come at some point. He's too good.
Yes.
He's too good of a player, and he just has not broken out at this point. Genty averaging just 3.1 yards per carry, which is good for dead last among starting running backs in the NFL. On the other side, though, Chicago enters giving up 5.5 yards per rushing carry, which is 31st in the NFL. So this kind of screams Ashton Genty to have a big game today. And then if he can get going, I think the play action game to Brock Bowers, to some of these other receivers could start to go better. But it's been a rough go for both our teams to start the season. But, I think Ben Johnson was definitely the right hire for Chicago. He's just such a great offensive mind. Pete Carroll, I'm not the biggest Pete Carroll guy, but I do think he's a winner. And I do think, he's a 500 guy.
He's a good coach.
I think he's a good coach. I think he could get the Raiders to, an 8-8, 8-9 type record, which
sneak in the playoffs.
Honestly would be a really big improvement coming from all the 6-1 seasons they've been having recently. But yeah, this will be a fun game, and obviously Dave and I's two teams going head-to-head in Las Vegas, which is such a fun place to play. I love the Raiders Stadium. I got to see the Colts and Raiders play there a couple of years ago, and that was just a really fun game, and it's a really cool stadium. I've
driven by it going to Fire the Dice in Vegas.
There you go.
Not seen a game there yet.
I encourage anybody, if they're ever on a trip to Vegas and the Raiders are playing, just go ahead and go, because the fun thing about Raiders games too is whoever they're playing, that team's going to have more fans. You're going to get to see the road fans, and it's going to be a cool atmosphere. The Raiders fans still show out, but Dave, you know how Vegas is. It's just a touristy nightmare, and that's where, opposing fans travel to see their team. That's one of the most popular destinations.
Well, I mean, there's so many things to do outside of going to the game.
Very true.
I might get stuck at Caesars on the craps table and watch.
Yeah, or on Fremont Street watching the people hang glide above me.
I've actually done that.
Yeah, I'm not shocked at all.
Yeah, I've done it.
I'm not shocked at all. Probably a couple deep as well.
Yeah, we were a couple Modelo's deep, but I think in the group behind us, a girl got stuck up there for like 3 hours.
Yeah, you always see that. Yeah, that's. I don't think.
There's one more point I wanted to make about Ben Johnson.
Yeah, go.
I think Chicago, yes, you're right. He's the right hire. And if you go back to game 1 against the Vikings, they had that game won. I mean, till the very end. But the Bears have to learn how to win. And he's got to instill that and get over the hump, And once he does that, I like where they're at. He's the right guy for the job.
Yep, agreed. We've still got a bowl game here in Dublin.
Yes,
don't
we do.
look now. Steelers punting it away into the end zone for a touchback. No timeouts for the Vikings on the board, but they do have a minute to work with. Just trailing by 3, so
big stop on 3rd and 1 just now.
Yeah, huge stop. And if Carson Wentz can lead some kind of drive, maybe they can get into field goal range and tie this one up, and we can see more dreadful overtime like we saw in State College last night. My gosh, I'm never going to get over that game.
Shout out James Franklin.
Oh, James Franklin. Oh, Drew Aller. Oh, just go ahead and graduate already, dude. Nobody wants to watch you in college anymore.
Doesn't it seem like he's been in college for 30 years?
I mean, golly, when they show his little picture in the corner, I'm just like, dude, for one, you need a haircut, and for two, you need to move on from college.
It's time to go sell insurance.
You're one of those super seniors, which I kind of was too, so I'm kind of being unfair right now. Is that intercepted?
That's intercepted. Pierre got it on the sideline.
Wow, yeah, that's going to be intercepted. But anyways,
Tyler Neal's hopes.
Yeah, Tyler Neal's hopes are out the window.
Shout out Tyler Neal. Take the L.
But last thing on Drew Aller, somebody's going to take him high.
Just because of the measurements. That's it.
And we've seen guys that we hate in college kind of work out in the NFL.
I don't see him.
Sometimes it just happens. But yeah, I just don't see it, Dave. He just does not make good decisions. Like when you have to make good decisions at the end of the game. Remember the interception against Notre Dame last year in the playoffs?
Yes.
When, oh, by the way, they weren't even trailing. It's not like we're down 3, like Carson Wentz right here. You kind of have to force it down the field. You have nothing to lose. It was a tie ball game. And Drew Aller throws across his body, intercepted. Notre Dame wins in regulation. He just makes really poor decisions. And I think part of it is his coaching. I just do not think that Penn State offensive schemes are very good at all. And I don't think James Franklin's a very good coach either. But, man, I would not touch this kid with a 10-foot pole.
Somebody
in the
will
NFL draft.
For what we're talking about. When you get a 6'5" guy, all the measurements when he gets there, they'll start
the poofy hair.
Yeah, they'll start drooling over the poofy hair. And what's funny, their OC that came from Kansas, guess who a lot of fans of a certain team wanted? Oklahoma wanted that guy.
Colton-Necky or whatever?
Colton-Necky.
Yeah.
And yeah, the scheme was not good. But look, I kind of blame Aller for that. He's handcuffed, in my opinion, at his quarterback spot from a guy that everybody's touting but is super mid.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree, too. This kid he can't really run the football. So, yeah, you are kind of handicapped in what you can do offensively. And everybody just thought he was going to improve so much as a passer as these years go on. It has not happened. Let's get to perhaps the game of the day at the 425 slot on CBS. It's the 1-2 Ravens. That's weird to say. It's the 1-2 Chiefs.
Weirder to say.
That's really weird to say. Baltimore at Kansas City. Mahomes versus Lamar.
One of these teams is going to be 1-3 today.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Even weirder to say. Let's just keep stacking weirder things.
We're going down the weird hole today.
Yeah. This is just a strange game considering where we've seen these teams. And Dave, I think that ball was ruled incomplete.
Wow.
So, yeah, this is kind of hard to follow when we're doing a live show. And
you're watching it, everybody out there.
Yeah, but let's get through this game real quick and go to a commercial break. But anyways, Ravens at Chiefs, Lamar versus Mahomes. Both these teams have really struggled early on, Dave, and it's kind of surprising. The Lions upsetting the Ravens on Monday Night Football last week, and then the Chiefs heartbreak to the Eagles the other week. Who do you think is going to come out on top in this? Ravens slight favorites on the road.
Doesn't this feel like a game that you could say you expect both to really come out on top?
Yeah, I would agree.
And fire back. Like, it's really hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes to not go 1-3. Same for Lamar Jackson. But I'll tell you what, I think the issue for the Ravens so far hasn't been Lamar. It's been Derrick Henry. He cannot get going, and that's the big hammer they kind of rely on as Wentz is going to be sacked. But I'll tell you what, I can't go against Mahomes. These matchups are legendary. You can go back to playoff matchups between the two. There's something about the Chiefs getting over the hump against the Ravens. I don't know why. There's nothing technically I look at to make me think they're better than the Ravens. I just think they've got a knack for beating them. So I got KC today.
I'm going to go with Baltimore. I
don't hate that.
I can't fade Lamar going to 1-3. I think he's going to have a big game today against Kansas City. But at the end of the day, both these teams seem like they're in similar spots, and this will be a really fun one. Even though Kansas City games recently aren't very fun to watch.
Kind of boring.
They're not scoring anymore. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. We got to hit a commercial break. We will come back and talk about the game of the night. The game Mike Cornett's at, Packers, Cowboys, and then we will give you our studs and duds, and we will get out of here.
Go Cowboys!
When it comes to protecting your business, the right partner matters. Insurica's environmental practice supports assessments, contracts, and incident response, so issues are managed before they escalate. Environmental risk touches construction, manufacturing, energy, healthcare, virtually every industry. That's why Insurica's environmental practice protects organizations facing pollution exposures or hazardous waste from their operations. From contractors and manufacturers to utilities and waste haulers, we design insurance and risk management programs tailored to how you do business. Leading that effort are Insurica environmental specialists Tom Caraway and Corbin Jackson. They partner with you to identify exposures, close gaps, and drive safer, more sustainable operations. Reduce your environmental risk. Connect with Tom Caraway and Corbin Jackson at Insurica.com or at 405-292-3918. That's 405-292-3918. Coverage is subject to policy terms and conditions.
Langston's Western Wear has been serving the community of Central Oklahoma for over 110 years. Since 1913, Langston's has provided quality products at the best prices in town to hardworking Oklahomans. Langston's carries the biggest brands in Western work and casual apparel from top brands like Ariat, Wrangler, Cinch, Justin, Twisted X, Levi's, and more. Known for their great prices and friendly service, their 2 locations throughout the metro means you're always a short drive away from the widest selection of boots, hats, jeans, shirts, and workwear in the region. Visit Langston's in historic Stockyard City or on Garth Brooks Boulevard in Yukon. You can also shop online at langstons.com or give them a call at 235-9536. Langston's Western Wear, 235-9536 or langstons.com.
Oklahoma City's oldest youth basketball program just started its 52nd season right here in the Metro. Satellite Athletic Association is a nonprofit youth basketball program that is conveniently located right in the heart of Oklahoma City off of 63rd and Tulsa. The boys youth basketball program runs every year from November through March, so get your friends together and start making plans for next season. Whether your kid has played for 5 years or never touched a basketball, we have a league for all ages as well as multiple skill levels. If you or anyone you know might be interested in the fall league, head on over to SatelliteGym.com for more information. Nowhere in the Metro can your kid get a 14-game season for just about $50 a kid. So check out SatelliteGym.com for more information.
Welcome to Bricksville, Oklahoma's first and biggest one-stop shop for everything Lego. We buy, sell, and trade Lego sets, minifigs, and more, whether it's brand new, gently used, or even those hard-to-find retired sets. Looking for that one missing piece? Bricksville's got you covered with 5 giant build tables and parts department, stocked with over 500,000 individual Lego bricks. Perfect for creating, rebuilding, or letting your imagination run wild. Planning a birthday? Make it unforgettable with the Bricksville Lego Party. 6 guided activities, tons of fun, and every guest takes home their very own poly bag set. They're family owned and locally operated, so give them a call at 405-724-7880. You'll find Bricksville in OKC at I-240 in Penn, and now they're excited to announce their brand new store in Edmond, right on the corner of Kelly and Edmond Road. Come by and see them at one of their 2 stores or online at bricksvilleokc.com.